right, take a look at the Vevor air compressor motor. So we do have some instructions, and we do actually have a color picture telling you exactly how to wire this up. So that's awesome. I do really like how they have this thing packed. This is a very nice thick foam padding on here. Okay, so the most important things, this is a 5 horsepower motor. This is a single phase, 208 to 230 volts. It is a 3450 RPM motor, so that's important. You want to make sure that you get something that's rated for your compressor. Continuous duty, and this is the cool thing, you can actually do counterclockwise or clockwise with this one. And in case you lose this instruction sheet, it actually tells you how to wire that right here. So it says if you want to go from counterclockwise to clockwise, we switch T2 and T3. So T2 is tied to T6, and then T3 is tied to T7. So if you want to go clockwise, we'll tie T3 to T6 and T2 to T7. We got a lot of options for mounting this thing, so that's great. So we got some regular holes, and then we have some slotted holes depending on how we want to mount this. If we want to be able to push the motor in and out, so if we're going to be putting a belt pulley on here or something like that, we can use these slotted holes and just loosen those bolts up, and we can slide the motor in and out to relieve the tension. So at the widest mark, we got 5.5 inches approximately, and then for the slotted, there's about 5 inches, about 2 inches here, 3 inches there, and then if you want to just use the regular mounting, 5 inches there. So I love seeing that. There's just a lot of options for mounting, where most of them, they just have like 4 holes, and you just have to, take whatever you're mounting it to and make that work. This one actually has adaptability, so that's great. On the rear, we have a max length of, it looks like 5.5 inches. The centering holes are at about 5.25, and then the minimum distance, it looks like about 3 3/4. Now, since we're looking at the back, this is one thing I like to see. We actually have an overload button. So if this thing overheats, it'll automatically shut off. After you let it cool, you can press this to reset it. That's awesome. I like seeing motors that aren't going to just melt on you. Let's take a look at the terminal block. Cool. So I can actually leave one of those bolts in. So this is actually pretty cool. I'm so used to dealing with these terminal blocks where you have to take the wires and you take wire nuts and screw everything together. This is actually all connected with spade bits. Look at that. That just makes life so much easier. Every motor should be like this. That is fantastic. All right, so we can see on here, this is labeled T2. And of course, the ones we got to remember here, we got T2 and T3. So if we wanted to take this and make it clockwise, we'll take T3 off here. So I could take this, connect it here, take T2, connect it here, and that would make it clockwise. So very easy. Now I only want counterclockwise, so I'm going to connect that exactly how it was. That's so easy. And then the way we're going to connect the wires to this is we've got a nut right on the back here. So we're going to loosen that nut off. We're going to put our line 1 here, put our line 2 down here, and then our ground goes right there. So yeah, couldn't be easier. That is fantastic. And we can also see we got plenty of ventilation going through here, so we're going to make sure we got nice, good airflow going through it. It's probably still a good idea every once in a while to use that compressor and blow that dust out to make sure that it stays clean. But as far as keeping it cool, this is probably going to be the best motor for it. So make sure you put a good gland in there to hold onto your cable to make sure that you're not going to be pulling on those wires in the event that that cable actually gets tugged on. But we got that. And then the last important thing is the shaft itself. We actually got a nice sleeve on there. I like seeing that. And for the shaft, 0.8815, so slightly oversized for a 7/8, which is fantastic. We're having a nice solid fit. And then the key, getting 0.186, so that's about 3/16. So yep, overall that is a very impressive motor. I'm going to wire that guy up and we will see what we get. So this is single phase 230, so what that means is we could use a 230 hot and a neutral, or we could use split phase 110. So 110 up, 110 down. So that's what I've got right here. You know, 120 and 120, and then together we got 212. And I'm just going to use these fork terminals, and I've got a 4mm socket to loosen these nuts. You could use an eyelet. Really depends on what you got. Eyelets are probably better, but I just got this, so that's what I'm going to use. And we'd want to try to get it behind the washer. And lock this down. And that is a 4mm socket. I think I said that already, but just for you guys. Say it again. And it doesn't matter which one you plug this into. And then we'll connect the ground right there. I should probably bolt this thing down before I turn it on, but I'm just going to YOLO it. Woo! She runs. Cool. So that is a darn good motor. I'm very happy with that.